It was early in the morning. Jungkook was in his car leaving for work, his eyes outside and a phone attached to his ear. Being a businessman, he hardly had a time where he was not having a business call. His morning was peaceful until he heard a cry. A cry of a baby, so loud it made it hard for him to hear what the other respected businessman was saying. Yet, it didn't anger him. He respectfully excused himself and cut the call. Jungkook, why is she crying so early in the morning? Did I wake you up, little champ? He looked at his side, his employer holding her daughter in her lap, who was now crying. Vian, you scared her. She teased, but was quick to handle her daughter with grace. Vine was a single mother. Jungkook had seen her going through a lot of tough times, yet when she handles her baby, it's a whole another side of her. The softness and grace with which she holds her baby melts his heart. Vine was an intelligent and hard-working colleague of his company. When she came to work with him, she was in a relationship and was expecting. But soon enough, help broke on her. The man cheated on her and left her with her baby. Vine never lost hope, no matter how much of a hard time it was for her. She worked hard despite her situation. But after she gave birth, she came with a resignation letter. She couldn't leave her daughter behind. Jungkook didn't want to lose such a hardworking employee, especially when she had already made a home in her heart. So he told her he could bring her daughter along. The offer was great and Vi needed money to feed her child, so she agreed happily. It's a few months since then. He always kept her closer and tried to be near her every chance he got. After her boyfriend left her, she stopped trusting people. That's why Jungkook decided to do it slowly, until she genuinely believed him. Jungkook, and if I'm the one to calm her down, why? You can't. She's a very tough one. Jungkook, as if you don't know, she melts in my arms instantly. Wine smiled. That was so true. Mirai always found warmth and peace in Jungkook's arms, like a daughter put in her father's arms. Jungkook, come here. He gently took her from Wine's arms. Mirai was quick to stop crying, and Jungkook smiled, rubbing her chin gently. She woke up, opening her eyes. Those eyes were his weakness. They were so big and so cute for his heart. She smiled, and Jungkook looked at Wine proudly. Jungkook, well, I was pretty famous with tough girls back in school. Wine rolled her eyes, and Jungkook let Mirai hold onto his fingers, playing around. Jungkook, she must say my name first. When she starts talking. Why? Excuse me? I am her mother. Jungkook, I am her mother's boss. Why? That's not how this works. Jungkook, will it work if I'm her mother's husband? He mumbled quite lowly for her to understand. Wine. What? He shook his head and returned Mirai to Wine to feed her. While he thought Wine didn't hear him, but she did, and her heart was racing quite fast at that. Jungkook and Wine reached the office. He picked her up on his way often, since her home was on his way to the office. He told her he liked seeing Mirai, so she didn't find it weird either. They got busy in their work, and later at noon, Wine entered his office room after taking permission. Wine and Mirai entered in her stroller. She moved Mirai to one side gently and walked to Jungkook discussing a few things. Wine, sign them after you read them. I'll take them back then. She left the files on his table and walked to Mirai, waiting for him to finish reading them. But how could he work when his whole attention was on the mother and her child? Mirai was in a good mood today, quite energetic. She was laughing quite loudly every time Wine did a peekaboo. It continued for some time and now it was itching Jungkook. He was getting jealous. He needed that attention. He called Wine and being lost in her daughter, she didn't hear him. So he decided to hold his horses and finish the work which he couldn't neglect either. He had responsibilities. Until then, the laughs had subsided and now Mirai slept peacefully in her stroller. Wine, are you done? She came back to him but was surprised when Jungkook suddenly pulled her on his lap. A gasp escaped her lips. Wine, Jungkook, what are. He cut her off. Jungkook, I called you several times. Wine, did you? I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Jungkook, sorry won't cut it. She gulped and looked down at their position once, then looked back at him. Wine, then Jungkook, I want my attention. Wine, Jungkook, come on. I didn't ignore you on purpose. Do you want me to do something? Is there something wrong with the files? Jungkook, forget about work. Something's wrong with my heart. Wine, what are you saying? Jungkook, I thought I could wait more, but I can't. I want you to know, and I want your answer as well. One curled her feet. She had a slight idea of what it was going to be, and that picked up her heartbeat real quick. She was scared, but he made her start believing again. All his efforts over the months didn't go to waste. She noticed each of them, and they were already working in his favor. Jungkook, I love you, Ryan, and I want to be a husband, your husband. I want to be a father, Mirai's father. I want to build a family with you too. You have done things to me no one has ever. You and Mirai hold this place in my heart no one ever touched before. Jungkook, I know your past scares you, but this has nothing to do with it. Give me a chance. I'll erase your every bitter memory and replace it with the happy ones. I'll provide for Mirai. I want her to be mine. She might not be my blood, but I'll treat her like one. Wan looked down once. Jungkook wrapped his arm around her waist, pulling her closer, not giving her the time to let any insecurity or fear settle in. Wan already liked Jungkook, but she couldn't take a step because of her fear. Jungkook, hey, look at me. He cupped her cheek, meeting his eyes. Her heart was as crazy as mess. Jungkook, can I kiss you? Wan looked at Mirai once. Her daughter was the most important part of her life, and she knew with Jungkook she was safe. If it was someone else, Wan might not be able to give it. Fine, yes, I'll be yours. Jungkook closed his eyes in relief and placed his lips over hers. He waited a lot for this moment. His grip around her waist tightened as he pulled her so close, not leaving any space between them. Ryan, take care of Mirai. She's too important to me. Jungkook, she's my daughter now. She's equally important to me. You both are under my protection now.